This version of Safe Tree Stand Hunting Strategies is produced by the National Bowhunters Education Foundation. Understand that when hunting from a tree stand, falls can occur at any time after leaving the ground and may cause serious injury or death. This production will demonstrate the safe use of tree stands and associated accessories. The NBEF and TMA advise that you must wear and use tree stand equipment certified by an independent testing firm to meet industry standards recognized by TMA. There are industry standards for most tree stand related equipment, including tree stands and safety harnesses. Testing for standard compliance is conducted by independent engineers. Full body harnesses also must pass testing requirements. Never use homemade tree stands or harnesses. Always wear a full body harness at all times after leaving the ground. You must stay connected to the tree at all times when using a hang-on or climbing style stand. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. Single strap safety belts and chest harnesses must never be used and shall be discarded. If you are not wearing a full body harness properly attached to the tree to protect you from a fall, do not leave the ground. Failure to do so may result in serious injury or death. Practice with your full body harness, tree belt, and lineman's belt with a responsible adult present prior to hunting. Read the provided written instructions and keep them for future reference. Watch the provided video and then re-watch this production at least yearly for hands-on demonstrations of the safe use of the various types of tree stands, climbing aids, and full body harnesses. Read and follow guidelines and warnings in the instructions and use all safety devices provided by the manufacturer with the tree stand, including instructions concerning adjusting the full body harness and the harness expiration date. Contact the manufacturer if you have any questions. Failure to do so could result in injury or death. Pay special attention to and be sure to follow the weight restrictions of your tree stand and harness, as well as the assembly instructions, taking into account your weight and the weight of any equipment you will use on a hunt. Never exceed the total weight limit of the tree stand or the full body harness. In review, here are the components of a full body harness: harness, tree belt, tether, lineman style belt, suspension relief strap. Some TMA manufacturers offer vest harnesses that incorporate a certified full-body harness into the vest. The tether of the full-body harness is found at the back of the harness and originates between your shoulders. When used, the tether connects to a belt or rope connection on the tree. This is known as the tree belt. The connection between the tether and the tree belt attaches you and your harness to the tree. Never allow the tether strap to get under your chin or around your neck. The length of the harness tether must be minimized at all times. It should be adjusted so that it is above the head with no slack, snug in the seating position, and you should have the minimum amount of slack possible when climbing. A full body harness might also be attached during climbing to a lineman style belt. A lineman style belt attaches to the harness on either side of your waist. Before you begin to climb, this belt passes around the tree and connects to the attachment points on the hips of the harness. A lineman-style belt will reduce fatigue and offer stability to the user while he or she performs a task. It is important for you to experience the stresses and pressures involved when you hang suspended from a full-body harness. Conduct this training at ground level and with another responsible adult present. Following the proper procedure after a tethered fall may save your life. The first thing to remember is don't panic. Stay calm, signal for help, and then execute your suspension relief plan. Suspension trauma. The failure to follow instructions and properly attach the full body harness to the tree belt by allowing excess slack in the tether, or the failure to properly and tightly secure the tree belt to the tree could result in the inability to reboard the platform, leaving you suspended from the tree in your full body harness. This situation of hanging suspended and motionless from a full body harness may lead to unconsciousness in as little as 5 minutes, followed eventually by death. Beginning in 2009, harnesses certified come packaged with a suspension relief device. Practice using it as instructed at ground level and keep it accessible and on your person when above ground level. Failure to follow harness instructions could result in not being able to return to the stand and being suspended in a harness after a fall. If you fall from the platform and are hanging suspended in your full body harness, you must reboard the tree stand platform immediately. Hanging motionless in a full body harness can lead to suspension trauma, which relates to blood pooling in the legs, which can be fatal. If you are unable to reboard the tree stand and while you are awaiting rescue, techniques exist to help extend consciousness. These techniques include procedures to encourage the pooled blood in your legs to return to your heart. The conscious survival time may be extended if the subject keeps moving his legs constantly and attempts to get legs into a horizontal position or as high as possible to allow blood flow to return to the heart. Consciousness may be extended by pushing down vigorously with the legs to force blood out of the legs. You can do this by putting your feet against the tree and flexing your legs constantly. Another method of gaining suspension relief if you are unable to gain access to the stand platform is to create a step to stand on with a strap or rope. This procedure requires that you attach a suspension relief strap or rope to your full body harness. The attachment point may be the lineman belt connectors on the waist of your harness. In some cases, a lineman's belt may work. First, attach one side of the strap to one hip and let it loop down to just below knee level. Attach the other end of the device at the other hip. Step onto the loop and stand up. This procedure can reduce the constricting pressure caused by the leg straps, allowing circulation through your legs and reduce your exposure to suspension trauma. You must have a plan in place for self-recovery or escape. Hunters with varying degrees of physical fitness may require different plans to recover from or escape the effects of suspension trauma. Have a personal plan and practice it at ground level with a responsible adult present. No one plan may work in every circumstance. Only you can determine the best plan for your hunting situation. Have a rescue, relief, and recovery plan, the 3 R's in place before you leave the ground. If a fall occurs while wearing a full body harness, don't panic. Remain calm. There is time to make a correct decision on a course of action. Think, then implement your plan. Several optional product systems are available that offer self-recovery or self-extraction from a fall when suspended in a harness. Some systems automatically descend the user, while others allow user control. One of these products or systems can be considered for use as an additional safety precaution against prolonged suspension and suspension trauma. Follow the manufacturer's directions on the safe use of these product systems. Stay on the ground and do not hunt from a tree stand if you don't have the ability to recover from a suspended position. Types of tree stands. Tree stands fall into 3 basic types: hang-on style, climbers, and ladder style. Each has its own safety requirements. Prior to using any tree stand or full body harness, you must read and understand the instructions and warnings provided by the manufacturer. Hang-on style tree stands. A hang-on style tree stand requires that you use a climbing aid. Always use a full body harness with a lineman style belt for stability when installing, using, and removing climbing aids and hang-on style tree stands. Some climbing aids can be transported in segments and then assembled into a single climbing system. Some designs consist of single independent segments that work in unison to allow a hunter to climb a tree. Sectional ladders and steps shall be placed on the tree so that each step is no more than 18 inches apart. Check the connection between each stick ladder section every time you use and before leaving the ground. If they're separating, do not use. Connect your lineman style belt to the tree at ground level and slide it up with you as you climb. The lineman's belt will be an additional contact point and can offer stability while completing a task. Practice with your hang-on stand at ground level before installing it at hunting heights. Become familiar with adjustments and tightening of the chains, straps, or cables that attach your stand to the tree. Be sure that all contact points are in contact with the tree before stepping onto the stand. Install the stand below the top of your climbing aid. While using the lineman's belt for stability, attach your tree belt and tether above the tree stand. Now you are double attached. Only then detach your lineman style belt. You are still attached with the tether and tree belt. Climb until your feet are above the stand platform. The full body harness must be attached to the tree before stepping down onto the tree stand. Step down onto the center of the platform and immediately slide your tree belt and tether up to, at, or above head level. Secure the attachment to the tree, then sit down on the seat. Note that the climbing aid must extend above the platform to allow the user to climb above the platform. Using the climbing aid as a handhold and then step down onto the platform. Never step up the board. Readjust the tether and tree belt so there is no slack in the tether when you are in a seated position. This positioning of the tree belt is critical to the proper functioning of the full body harness and must not be overlooked. Now, reverse the boarding procedure and practice leaving the platform and climbing down while remaining attached to the tree with your tether, tree belt, and/or lineman-style belt. Many accidents occur when installing or taking down a tree stand, or when getting into or out of a tree stand. It is critical that you be attached to the tree with your full body harness and/or lineman's belt during these times as well as throughout your hunt. Ladder-style tree stands. Once erected, a ladder-style tree stand is relatively easy to climb and resembles a fixed ladder. This class of tree stands is also the heaviest to transport and requires at least 3 people to safely erect or take down. While most ladder stands accommodate 1 hunter, some models are made for 2 hunters and may require more than 3 people to erect. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. First, assemble the tree stand and select a tree. Although there may be some variation, most ladder stands are installed as follows. Connect the ladder sections and secure with retainer pins or clips. Check that these are in place before each use. If they are missing, don't use the stand. Position the base of the ladder at a distance from the tree as described in the manufacturer's instructions. Always select a firm, level, and even surface. An irregular surface or a rocky surface may cause the base to shift or tilt as you climb. Place the base in this cleared site and have one adult hold the bottom section of the ladder in place while the other 2 adults lift the stand into a vertical position and then slowly guide it to the tree. Now, seat the base of the ladder into the soil by applying weight on the bottom rung before climbing on the ladder. Many manufacturers utilize a stabilizing brace. Once your stand is resting against the tree and settled into the ground, install the stabilizing brace. Next, pass the cross straps behind the tree and connect them to the ladder and tighten as directed. The cross straps will, when installed correctly, pull the top of the stand against the tree. Always install the stabilizing brace and cross straps before climbing. Next, 2 persons hold the ladder and support it as the 3rd person, while wearing a full body harness, climbs slowly, leaning forward. Using the 3-point climbing method, Three-point climbing requires that either 2 feet and 1 hand or 2 hands and 1 foot be in contact with the ladder at all times. For tripod-style stands, use this same three-point climbing method and follow the manufacturer's instructions to erect. The top person shall attach his or her full body harness to the tree with the tree belt before securing the ladder stand's top attachment strap and before stepping onto the platform. Use 3 persons when taking down a ladder-style tree stand, and reverse the steps, being especially cautious when disconnecting the top attachment strap. Most ladder accidents occur when putting up or taking down this type of tree stand. Maintain 3 points of connection with the ladder at all times while ascending and descending. When using a tripod stand for hunting, follow the manufacturer's written instructions, guidelines, weight restrictions, and warnings provided for assembly and use. Always use the 3-point climbing method when ascending or descending the tripod-style stand. Climbing-style tree stands. Climbing-style tree stands are popular because they install in minutes and don't require a separate climbing system. The user must use both a foot platform and a hand climber or climbing aid while climbing or descending. Remember to always ensure your full body harness, attachment tether, and tree belt is securely attached to the tree from the time you leave the ground until the time you return to the ground. Become familiar with foot placement, attachments, and adjustments before leaving the ground. Learn how to adjust and use the seat, armrest, or gun rests, and how to secure the sections to the tree once at hunting height per the manufacturer's instructions. This class of tree stand requires considerable ground level practice before you take it on a hunt. With climbing tree stands, the hand or seat climber and foot platform grip the tree when your weight is applied downward. Removal of weight from either releases that segment, allowing the platforms to move. Remember to maintain your weight steadily upon any weight-bearing platform at all times until you are ready to move that platform. Failure to do so may allow the top hand climber or foot platform to move, causing you to lose your balance and fall. The back bar or cable is the adjustable component of the climbing stand or hand climber which engages the tree to provide support. The grip is released when you lift the outer edge of the top hand climber portion or foot platform section. This allows you to reposition the stand and climb up or down. The outer edge of the stand must be higher than the front of the stand where it contacts the tree. As you climb, a tree will become smaller in diameter, causing the angle of the platform to change and the outer edge of the platform to lower in relation to the edge closer to the tree. To ensure that the platform is flat at hunting height, the platform must tilt toward the tree trunk at ground level. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for compensating for tree diameter taper as you ascend the tree. Never hunt from a platform in which the outer edge is lower than the edge closest to the tree. This is unsafe, and you must immediately return to ground level and adjust the attachment so the platform angle is acceptable. Do not attempt to adjust the angle while above ground level unless directed to do so by the manufacturer. When you reach your hunting height, the platform must be either level or tilted slightly toward the tree. Adjustments to the harness attachment to the tree with the tree belt shall be frequent and coordinated with tree stand movement to maintain the least amount of slack in the tether that will allow for climbing. Never take big steps when using a climber. Rather, take small, comfortable, controlled steps and climb no more than 12 inches at a time. Many of the accidents that are attributed to this type of tree stands are a result of the user failing to connect the top and bottom sections of the stand with the provided connecting tether or adjusting the platform angle above ground level. Never hunt from a tree stand if you are feeling ill, not well rested, nauseous, or dizzy, or if you have a prior medical condition that may cause a problem, such as a heart, joint, or spinal condition that may increase your risk. Always remain in the relative center of the stand platform. Never stand on a seat or rely on the seat for stability. Never rely on limbs for support. These can break, leading to a fall. Inspect your tree stand and all safety devices before each hunt. Never store a tree stand outdoors when not in use. Both written and video instructions must be kept in a safe place and reviewed at least annually. It is the responsibility of the tree stand owner to furnish the complete instructions to any person who borrows or purchases the tree stand. Never modify your stand in any way by making unauthorized repairs, replacing parts, or altering, adding, or attaching anything to it unless explicitly authorized in writing by the manufacturer. Conduct minor maintenance such as lubrication, tightening bolts, and replacing worn parts or straps as directed by the manufacturer. Never leave your tree stand attached to a tree for more than 2 weeks at a time. Trees grow and the diameters of trees increase. This growth can add tremendous stress to an attachment strap or chain. Adding your weight may cause the stand attachment to fail. When raising or lowering a firearm, make sure it's unloaded, action open, safety on, and muzzle loaders uncapped or unprimed. Never attach the pull-up strap to the trigger guard or near the trigger. Attach the pull-up strap so the muzzle is pointed down. Only pull up gear after being secure in your tree stand. Many hunting accidents occur in dawn and dusk lighting conditions. Always use a flashlight when entering or leaving the woods. This light will identify you as a hunter, and you will reduce the risk of being mistaken for game. Become familiar with operating your tree stand in low light conditions. Understand that operating a tree stand in the dark may increase your risk. Always carry a signaling device with you, such as a whistle, cell phone, two-way radio, or personal locator beacon on your person so you can signal for help. Not in an inaccessible pack. Practice to make sure you can reach it while suspended from your harness. Only pull up or lower gear after you are safely secured in your tree stand. Always let someone know the location of your tree stand, where you'll be hunting, and when you plan to return. If you are overdue, someone will know where to look for you. The best plan is to hunt with a buddy and check in with one another often. Never use a tree stand during poor weather conditions such as during rain or inclement weather. Never hunt from an elevated stand during high winds or when there is lightning in the area. Never hunt from a tree stand during icy or frosty conditions. Avoid tree stand use on days when the weather makes tree stand hunting dangerous. Avoid trees that are wet, icy, or have slippery, extremely hard or loose scaly bark. Dead trees and leaning trees. Always select a straight, healthy, and living tree that matches the diameter and description suggested by the manufacturer of your tree stand. And never climb or attach a tree stand to a telephone or power pole. End your hunt and return to the ground if inclement conditions arise. Never hunt from an elevated tree stand after consuming any drugs, alcohol, or prescription medication. Many over-the-counter meds cause drowsiness, which can contribute to poor judgment or a fall. If you're sleepy, don't hunt from a tree stand. We recommend that you wear your full body harness in such a way that you can inspect the buckles. Inspect the tree stand and all safety devices each time before use. Look for damage that may be the result of sharp metal, broadheads, animals, or just excessive wear. Inspect stitching for wear. Examine carabiners and make sure they're in good working order. Keep track of the age of your harness. Find the expiration date sewn onto your harness and ensure that it has not expired. If your harness is expired or outdated, discard it and purchase a new harness certified by an independent testing firm to meet industry standards recognized by TMA. Follow the manufacturer's directions for the procedure for adjusting the stand to fit a given diameter tree. The manufacturer will describe a minimum and maximum tree diameter. Never jump or bounce on a tree stand to seat it to the tree. Practice installing, adjusting, and using your tree stand at ground level prior to using it at elevated positions. Use a pull-up rope or haul line to raise or lower your tree stand, bow, or equipment. Never climb with anything on your back or in your hand. Accidents may occur while using any class of tree stand. Most accidents are attributed to hunters not wearing and using a full body harness as directed. Finally, hunting from an elevated position involves a degree of risk. Always follow the manufacturer's written and video instructions and exercise common sense to reduce your risk.